Hey, how's it going guys? So, a year ago today, I made a video in this exact yellow top. So for those of you who don't know, today is World Mental Health Day. It's held every year on the 10th of October. And last year, I took part in the Hello Yellow campaign set by Young Minds. Now this is basically just to raise awareness. The video is only a minute long, so I guess I'll just play it now and you can see for yourself. Roll the clip. So today, 10th of October, is World Mental Health Day. Which is why I'm wearing yellow. I'm wearing yellow for the Hello Yellow campaign set by Young Minds. This is to raise awareness and show support for people dealing with mental health. So today I set out to do something crazy, something I thought would be impossible, simply to show you that nothing is ever impossible. Life is hard for anyone and everyone, and it will throw you on your ass. But if you can get back up and have the patience to keep living and the strength to keep going, you will show yourself that nothing is ever impossible. Yes, I was quite the motivational speaker. Yeah, so that was when I was really into the gym and I made that video just sort of raising awareness for mental health. I want to take part because mental health is a very important thing to me. So this year, the Hello Yellow campaign was Friday the 9th, it was yesterday, whereas World Mental Health Day is on the 10th, so I'm kind of overlapping it, just putting it into one video. But this year, considering the theme is mental health for all, I thought I would get a bit more personal. So today, I'm gonna dive deep into my past and talk about my mental health story. Now, maybe you're watching this and thinking mental health isn't an issue for you, you don't have it, you don't know anyone who does. Don't be so quick to click off this video, because you might hear a piece of information that could help you or maybe somebody else. I think you'd be surprised to hear that you don't always know that you have mental health issues, and if you're confused as to why, continue watching this video and I'll explain it. So I do just want to give a quick warning before we get into this video. Obviously this video is based upon the topic of mental health, so there are mentions of self-harm and suicide, so if these stuff kind of trigger you or you're sensitive to them, then do click off this video now. I thought I'd just give you a quick rundown of what's going to happen, but I won't keep you any longer. So, into the video. Hi, I'm Michael, and this is my mental health story. So this is me. Well, not me right now, but a much younger and cuter version. Now I'm sure you're thinking, Michael, why are you showing me this photo of a very handsome young devil? Well, one, to show you how much I've glowed down over the years, and two, because this is actually where my mental health story starts. I'm sure you're thinking, how can such a happy looking child have issues like anxiety and depression? Well, stories have a beginning and stories take time, so bear with me. Now when I was young, I always remember being shy, being anxious, you know, not wanting to get in people's way, not wanting to be the bad kid, just not wanting to be a burden in general, which isn't usually the thought process of a child. Now these thoughts, these worries of being a burden started to get worse around 13 years old when I started a new school. It was full of a bunch of new people. I got hella nervous, hella anxious. I didn't want to get in people's way, I didn't want people to think badly of me, so I kind of just stepped back. And that's where I went wrong, because the further I stepped back, the more I felt alone, the more anxious I got because I didn't actually have any close friends. And suddenly these thoughts and emotions of anxiety started to increase. I felt like nobody wanted to hang out with me. Nobody was really there for me or really my friend. Because I didn't understand these thoughts and emotions going on, it really just developed into anger. I just felt angry that I didn't understand what was going on. And that's when I started having this very intense internal emotion of just anger building up inside of me, and I felt the need to let it out in a sharp burst of anger. Now at the time, I didn't realise that this was an issue. I thought this was just normal, which is why I'm telling you this now, because sometimes it's important to realise that you possibly could too have mental health issues, and it's important to get the help when you need it. Now during this time, I got very into the gym. I loved to exercise, work out, push my body to the limits, and this became my first coping mechanism. It was a way I could release all that energy, all that anger in a positive way that actually benefited my body. But then I also found myself going to the gym a lot more frequently because it's where I felt comfortable. So I started spending more time at the gym than I would going out and socialising with other people. And it got to the point where I was going to the gym for like 3 hours almost every day, which was just unhealthy for me physically and mentally, and things slowly started to get worse. I constantly felt shit, I constantly felt angry, and this inner feeling of anxiety and anger would build up, and this is when I started physically punching things. I would not advise punching a wall because it fucking hurts, but at the time it's just what I did because it made me feel better. Looking back, I can understand that this was actually the first time I started self-harm. I didn't realise what it was at the time. All I thought was this sharp burst of energy, this pain on my hand, took away anything I was feeling inside. And it became very clear to me that this was an issue when I broke my hand. Twice. Yep. This hand right here. I got so angry I would punch something, and I literally broke my hand. I've been to the hospital twice to get it casted and wrapped. And this was when I realised I had a problem. This wasn't good, but it is what it is. Now, when I turned 15, that's when I found CrossFit. Now, CrossFit is a mixture between weightlifting and gymnastics. Now, this was a sport that used a lot of short, sharp bursts of explosive energy, and it was perfect for me. These were routines that also lasted about an hour, so I was going in for good periods of the day. I found myself getting a lot more healthier because I had found a routine for my coping mechanism. I had control of it. I became a lot more confident in myself, and things started to look up, to the point where I decided to sign up to a summer camp and meet new people. Honestly, the best thing I've ever done. These people were amazing. Like, we just got along. You know, as you say when you're young, best friends forever. Like, fuck, that was true. Yeah, that kind of fizzled away when we all went our separate ways. Again, at 16, I was starting a new school and everything was different to me. Brand new environment, and the anxieties came back. There were a whole bunch of new people surrounding my life, and I didn't know what to do, how to act. It made me very uncomfortable. I would literally go to college, I'd go to my gym sessions, and I'd go home, I'd eat alone. And this is where things really started to change for me. During this time, I was struggling at home. I was having broken relationships with a few people. It made it a lot more difficult for me. I felt more like a burden, more like I was making people upset. Come 17, it was possibly the lowest year of my life. The anxiety and the depression had just completely taken over me. It felt like nobody wanted to be around me. It felt like I had no one. All I had was myself. I was very alone. I hated myself. I quite literally became my own worst enemy. These emotions would literally cause me physical pain in my chest. I struggled to breathe sometimes. I was having panic attacks, anxiety attacks. I started self-harm. I was having suicidal thoughts. It just was not a good time for me. Now, I'm sure those words make a lot of you very uncomfortable. I get it. You know, nobody likes talking about self-harm, it's not a good thing, but in the form of educating you all, I do feel like I need to address it. Just to explain, self-harm basically is a physical pain that sort of relieves you from emotional distress. Now, I don't recommend it at all, because in the long run it just brings back so much more problems and so much more shit. Believe me when I tell you, it's never easy to go into college every day with a bandage on your arm and have people remind you of it and ask you, what did you do to your arm? Now, listening closely, because if you ever see someone with a bandage or marks on their arm, you ask them what happened, you may hear a few of the following. I sprained my wrist. I stretched a muscle in my forearm. Oh, it's nothing, don't worry about it. Oh yeah, I fell over and scratched myself. Now, I don't want to worry you too much. It could possibly be that they did do one of those things. I just want you to be careful of it and be wary of it, because unfortunately, due to lack of knowledge and education, I had to endure jokes. Jokes about self-harm, remarks about the scratches on my shoulder, which just wasn't easy for me. I felt embarrassed and ashamed of myself. I was disappointed, I was upset, and I would go home and literally just break down. Now, I'm sure nobody actually knew that it was self-harm. I'm sure they thought it was just an accident that happened and they were joking about it. So I do not hold anything against them, but at the time it's very difficult to see that. Now, I just want to quickly address something about self-harm, and it's that I highly urge you never to start. Don't do anything that causes harm to you, because it becomes an addiction. I know that sounds silly, but it's true. The physical pain relieving you from the emotional distress going on becomes like an addiction. You want to do it all the time because you think it makes you feel better. But just believe me when I tell you, it really doesn't. Now, my anxiety and depression got so bad to the point where people around me were telling me to get help. So that is essentially what I went and did. I went and saw my doctor, I explained everything, and he referred me to talking therapies, which basically meant I was having telephone calls every week just to find out what was going on in my life and what I can do to fix that. Now, this has been getting very deep and emotional. The story does get a bit better from here. I'll try and lighten up the mood a bit because I don't want this to be an awkward topic. I think this should be normalised. I think it's important to talk about these things and have it not make people uncomfortable. So I'll tell you an ironic story. My talking therapist ironically had the same name as someone I was having relationship issues with. It was very much an eye-opener to me, telling me that I need to face my problems. And I know that sounds cringy and it sounds cliche, but it is true, because the only person that can help you is you. If you're not willing to be helped, you can't be helped. That is just a fact to life. Now, along with these talking therapies, I noticed that most of the stuff I was being told I already knew. It was honestly just a big kick in the nuts, really. because looking back, it didn't really help me. Well, I won't say that. At the time, I didn't like it because I felt like all I was doing was spending an hour living in all the shit that was happening throughout the week, and I just didn't enjoy it. Now, the information given to me was very helpful. It was already stuff that I knew, which is why I wasn't enjoying the therapy sessions, but it really did let me know that I need to start doing these things and start changing my life. So after focusing on my exams and getting that out of the way and finishing college, I came to the conclusion that I need to know myself first before I get to know others. I found more ways to remain creative. I maintained the gym. I started getting back into dancing. I started to draw. I started to play the ukulele and start music. I was starting to become a lot more confident in myself. I really started to open my eyes to my own capabilities, my own possibilities. And since like January, I have like 225,000 followers now on TikTok, 10,000 on Instagram. I've started YouTube, I'm doing that more, as you can see, and it's really opened my eyes to possibly my career, like what I can do in life, what I love to do and enjoy. So things definitely have been looking up. Now, I'm sure you're waiting for the happy ending where I find a bunch of new friends and I'm living the best life ever. No. I'm sorry, but the reality is mental health doesn't go away. It doesn't just get cured for most people. We only learn to live with it. We learn to find ways to manage it and cope with it. I still to this day struggle with anxiety. The only difference is I manage it a lot better. I'm slowly taking a path to progress from that. I've been almost a year self-harm free. I've been like 6 to 8 months off any medication. I'm definitely feeling more confident myself. But, there's always a but. I'm fully prepared to go back on meds. I'm fully prepared to the point where I may return to self-harm. I'm only 19 years old. I have so much more life to get through. Now, I'm sure you're thinking that's a very negative mindset. Well, no, I'm not saying I am going to, but I'm prepared. I'm prepared for the idea that it could happen again, and I'm prepared to deal with it again. And this is what I want to get across to everyone else, is it's important to educate yourself on how to deal with these issues. No matter what, you cannot take your issues and put them in a little box in the corner of the room or in the back of your head, because that's called denial. And denial is the worst thing you could possibly do. The only way to overcome a problem is to face it head on, to come up with solutions to actually fix it and better it. So yeah, I'm sorry that you didn't get your happy ending, but this isn't a fairy tale. It is very important that you understand these things and you know these things, especially now in COVID, where suicide rates are extremely high right now. Mental health has gotten worse because people are in their homes, they can't visit therapists, they can't get the help they need. So bear it in mind, message your friend, give them a little text, give them a call, check up on them, because you never know, just a 5-minute chat can actually make their day. Like literally a message from a friend saying, hey bitch, it does put a smile on your face. So that really is my mental health story, and it's not finished. But I hope you guys have sort of enjoyed this story. I know it's been up and down with the emotions, but I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned something. It is very important, and like I said, this is World Mental Health for All, so I did want to open people's eyes to the idea of the possibility that people in your life, or even yourself, could have mental health issues, and it's important to realise that and fix it early. You know, obviously when something bad happens, don't just go, I have anxiety and depression, because it is possible to put yourself under the belief that that is a thing. Sometimes everyone gets down. Just because you're upset does not mean you have mental health issues, but just be wary of it. So yeah, just to quickly sum up, these are some of the things that helped me. They may not help you, but I think I would just go over them just in case you want to try them. One is knowing yourself, understanding your emotions, what triggers you, what doesn't, how to find solutions for them. And then another would be finding multiple coping mechanisms. Don't just rely on one, have quite a few out there, and that means basically finding a love, finding a passion, something you really enjoy to take your mind off of anything going on up here. And possibly the most important one is talk to someone. Have at least one person that you talk to about what's going on, because I promise you it makes it a lot better. Maybe if it is a friend, maybe it's a family member, maybe it is a professional. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope it's kind of like helped you to understand that, you know, you're really not alone. There are so many more people that have the same thoughts, the same issues. So hopefully this video has inspired you to move out of your shell a bit, maybe talk to someone and take that extra step to a better life. Perhaps do what I did, tell your mental health story, because often the best way to relieve yourself of something is to just let it out there. I mean, one of the best things I did was tell my entire rugby team about my anxieties and my depression, and the beauty of it was nothing changed, and that's actually a good thing. I didn't want them to be extra kind or extra nice to me, because that's called pity, but it hit me with the realization that nobody really thinks differently of you. Like, life just continued. My only regret is that I didn't do it or say anything earlier. But anyway, if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you very much for listening to me. I know I've gone on for quite a while now, but this is definitely not something I want to just brush past. But if you have any questions, do leave something in the comments, or even DM me on Instagram, even if you just want to chat. Maybe you're going through something you need help with. If they are thoughts on suicide, I highly recommend you talk to a professional, because I cannot help you with that. But if you just want to talk about your experiences, about your life, I'd be happy to talk to you. So do drop me a message. But anyway, I don't always make videos like this, okay? Most of my videos are happy, good ones, so do check out my channel if you want to smile. And yeah, I wish you all the best, okay? Be brave, be strong. I promise you, you can make it through anything. There's always a second option. I love you all. Have a good one.